I talk a lot of shit about the Trump administration being fascist. And I want to avoid using labels as buzzwords to like scare you without defining them. I'm trying to scare people because it is happening. It's not driving up the driveway. It's not on our doorstep. It's in the fucking house. So I want to talk about what fascism is and how the Trump administration and MAGA are filling it. This part is about ultranationalism. There's patriotism, which is a love for your country, right? It's I believe in my country. I want it to do well, so I'm willing to criticize it to make it into a better thing that works for the people in the country, which can be everyone, right? And then there's nationalism, which is more like loyalty to your country, right? It's getting into the realm of like, I don't really want to criticize America because America's the best country in the world, right? And I would do anything for America. But then you get into ultranationalism when you go from loyalty to America to superiority in America. And you start to emphasize that non-Americans are below you and Americans are superior, right? Think about America first, right? This is why it was so easy to convince conservatives to go from nationalist to ultranationalist. Immigrants are the problem. Immigrants are not America. We forego their constitutional rights to due process to get them out of here. We don't care about the Constitution. We don't care about the values America is founded on. We care about America first, right? This is why Charlie Kirk's latest obsession is about how Muslims immigrating to different countries like the UK and America are ruining those countries. Even though Islam is a religion of peace, and there's statistically no evidence to show that Muslims commit more crimes than Christians do. But he wants to invoke the idea that America's identity is white and Christian. And as we tend towards supremacy, white supremacy, Christian supremacy, then it's very easy to invoke Islamophobia and say, if Muslims come into America, they're taking away America. They're changing everything America is, which is white and Christian. This is why it doesn't matter what data and statistics you show conservatives, especially MAGA and like Turning Point. They don't care, right? Because it's not about the statistics and the data. It's about their idea of what America is, America's identity. And people who come into your country who don't fall into that identity are ruining your country. They're taking that identity away from you. They're coming for your American values by allowing non-white, non-Christian people to come into the country.
And this idea that immigrants aren't America, as if America wasn't built on diversity and didn't get a lot of its value by being this huge mixing pot of peoples and cultures and religions, is yet again conservatives being unwilling to change, right? This is what the founding fathers said 250 years ago, and anything that deviates from that is bad. I've even heard people like that guy on the Jubilee video talk about how constitutional amendments are changes to the Constitution, right? I am a constitutionalist, and amendments would be changing that. And they can't acknowledge that America has changed over time. That things are just a little bit different than 250 years ago when the founding fathers wrote the Constitution, because they also thought that black people were subhuman to white people.
America first can be used in different contexts. It's not necessarily an ultra-nationalist phrase. Woodrow Wilson used it in World War I to talk about how we don't want to get involved in foreign conflicts because we want to save American lives. Now we use it to get involved in foreign conflicts to say that we are not safe in America unless we oppress all these other countries, like in the Middle East. That's where the border between nationalism and ultranationalism comes into play. For America, ultranationalism involves American superiority over other places while simultaneously isolating itself from those other places. Ultranationalism and fascism often involve expanding your country's influence, right? Think about the Gulf of America. Think about Canada being the 51st state. Think about Trump discussing the Gaza Strip as if it's going to be like a resort for rich people or something. Nobody else can manage their countries except for America. So if we expand our influence, those countries will be safer and better. But then it's also saying America is superior, and so we use the tariffs to isolate ourselves from other countries, right? To ruin relationships with those countries because we are superior, and anything that gets done outside of America is not as good. They isolate us as a class of our own above all the other countries. Other countries can't do things as well as America can. I'm a fan of the Native American mindset, which is nobody owns any land. You rent land from the earth as long as you live on it. And these imaginary lines on a map don't dictate your value, especially not when you were born into those places. If America was really the strongest economy and military in the world, we should be opening our doors to other people so that we could help them. But instead, we have to maintain the purity of America by slamming the door shut and closing everyone else out. Because if they're not American, they're not as good as Americans.